नमस्कार दोस्तों, वेलकम टू लाइफ एक्सप्रेस वेयर देयर इज नो ड्रामा, नो फेक, ओनली फैक्ट्स टू कीप यू अवेक। जी हाँ, सही सुना आपने। लाइफ एक्सप्रेस एक ऐसी दुनिया है, एक ऐसा एकेडमिक प्लेटफॉर्म है जहाँ हम बेमतलब की बातें नहीं करते, क्योंकि यहाँ बातें होती है सिर्फ रियल लाइफ के, रियल लोगों के, रियल अचीवमेंट्स की, और बातें होती है रियल नॉलेज की अंडर भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा, जिसकी बुनियाद वसुधैव कुटुंबकम पर आधारित है। वसुधैव कुटुंबकम यानी द होल वर्ल्ड इज आवर फैमिली। भले ही वसुधैव कुटुंबकम और अतिथि देवो भव का पालन करते करते हिंदुस्तान को भारी नुकसान उठाना पड़ा, लेकिन आज हर भारतीय को ये कहते हुए काफ़ी गर्व होता है कि भारत एक ऐसा देश है जिसने आज तक ना ही किसी पे आक्रमण किया और ना ही किसी पे राज किया। हाँ, हमने पूरी दुनिया पे राज किया, लेकिन उनके अधिकार, अस्तित्व एवं संस्कृति को छीन कर नहीं, बल्कि उनके दिलों पर राज किया, अपनी प्राचीन सभ्यता एवं संस्कृति और फिलॉसफी की खुशबू बिखेर कर। इसी भारतीय परंपरा को आगे बढ़ाते हुए लाइफ एक्सप्रेस अपने मिशन पे आप सभी के सहयोग से आगे बढ़ रही है, जिसमें मेरा यही प्रयास है कि भारतीय संस्कृति एवं ज्ञान प्रणाली का समुचित अध्ययन कर उसके भाव को, उसमें निहित संदेश को आपके सामने, वर्ल्ड सोसाइटी के सामने प्रस्तुत करूं, क्योंकि आज पूरी दुनिया में एक नहीं कई कारणों से अनेक प्रकार के संकट के बादल मंडरा रहे हैं, खूनी युद्ध चल रहे हैं, परिवार में, समाज में, राष्ट्र में और पूरे विश्व में। पूरी दुनिया आज एक सोसाइटल मॉडल ऑफ लिविंग ढूंढ रही है, जिसे अपनाकर वो शांति और सौहार्द के साथ जी सके। लेकिन अफसोस, दुनिया के पास ऐसा कोई मॉडल नहीं है। लेकिन चिंता की कोई बात नहीं है, क्योंकि भारत के पास ऐसा सोसाइटल मॉडल ऑफ लिविंग है जिसे अपनाकर हम पूरे विश्व में शांति और उन्नति का मार्ग प्रशस्त कर सकते हैं। और उसी मॉडल को हम आज भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा के रूप में देख रहे हैं। तो चलते हैं कार्यक्रम के अगले सेगमेंट हॉल ऑफ फेम की ओर, जहां हम मिलेंगे एक ऐसी शख्सियत से जो वाकई समाज के लिए एक रियल रोल मॉडल हैं, अपने उत्कृष्ट एवं सराहनीय कार्यों के चलते। लेकिन हम में से अधिकांश लोग उनकी उपलब्धि या अचीवमेंट से आज भी बेखबर हैं। नमस्कार दोस्तों, आज के हॉल ऑफ फेम में हमारे साथ एक बहुत ही खास मेहमान हैं, जिनके जीवन से जुड़े कई रोचक तथ्य हैं। इससे पहले कि हम उन रोचक तथ्यों को जाने उन्हीं की जुबानी, मैं चाहूंगा कि सबसे पहले मैं आपको अपने विशेष अतिथि का एक संक्षिप्त परिचय दे दूं। वैसे तो हमारे आज के विशेष अतिथि किसी परिचय या पहचान के मोहताज नहीं हैं, लेकिन औपचारिकता का निर्वहन करते हुए मुझे ये बताते हुए अपार हर्ष की अनुभूति हो रही है कि लाइफ एक्सप्रेस के इस हफ्ते के हॉल ऑफ फेम में हमारे साथ जो विशेष अतिथि एमएस टीम पे ऑनलाइन जुड़े हैं, वे हैं प्रोफेसर डॉक्टर नचिकेता सिंह। प्रोफेसर सिंह का जन्म 17 जुलाई 1968 को उड़ीसा की राजधानी भुवनेश्वर में एक सामान्य पर शिक्षित परिवार में हुआ था। बचपन से ही अपनी विलक्षण प्रतिभा एवं उत्कृष्ट कार्यों के बदौलत उन्होंने समाज में अपनी एक अलग पहचान बना ली थी। उन्होंने अपनी प्रारंभिक, माध्यमिक तथा उच्च शिक्षा अव्वल दर्जे से सफलतापूर्वक पूरी की। More importantly, he did his PhD on ethnic conflict in former Yugoslavia and its impact on international politics. His research work revolved around the impact of ethnic revival in internal politics and non conventional security threats in the contemporary world. With more than 3 decades of teaching and research experience to his credit in the field of international relations, foreign policy, global politics, and governance, Professor Nachiketa Singh has recently completed the ICSSR minor research project on empowering women through capacity building, role of common service centers in rural Odisha, the outcome report of which has also been published as a research article in IASSI Quarterly Journal. It is also noteworthy that Professor Singh has held several dignified positions in academic and administrative capacities. He was earlier the senior most faculty in the Department of Political Science, Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Khalsa College, University of Delhi. Besides teaching and research activities, his academic work includes development of course curriculum both at the university and national level. His other academic work includes research guidance to MPhil and PhD students and collaborative project work. His areas of specialization and expertise are international relations and foreign policy, on which he has published several research papers in reputed journals. Professor Singh's recent book on mapping governance innovations perspectives from South Asia 2024 has also been published by Routledge, Taylor and Francis Group. As an ICC SR Research Fellow, Professor Singh has earlier undertaken research on ethnic conflict and internal security and its impact on international politics. He's also working on external dimensions of internal security of India with reference to counter-insurgency strategies and terrorism in the Indian subcontinent. Professor Singh has contributed to the development of online courses MOOCs under UGC as subject expert in political science and has also served as a member of Committee of Courses and Board of Studies in Delhi University and other universities. He is a member of the Academic Advisory Council of Consortium for Educational Communication under UGC for development of MOOCs. He takes keen interest in both national and international politics and delivers talks and lectures in seminars and conferences on various aspects of foreign, economic, and security related issues. He has published several research articles in reputed journals on global politics and regional geopolitical issues in South Asia. He has published several research papers in various social sciences, journal, and authored chapters in edited books. Professor Singh has served 2 terms as an elected member of Academic Council of Delhi University, where he has worked in several statutory committees of the university appointed by the Vice Chancellor. He has recently served 3 years term as an academic council member at Central University, Pondicherry, and is currently serving as a nominated member of the Academic Council of Delhi University again. At present, he is serving as principal of Shyamlal College, University of Delhi. Apart from his active teaching and research work, Professor Singh has vast experience of administration and governance, where he has demonstrated exemplary leadership. And I should not forget to add that Professor Singh has also been felicitated with several prestigious academic awards at national and international levels for his academic and social contributions to mankind at large. And to talk to him, I shall take you to online platform of MS Team, where we shall talk all about democracy, politics, and some new perspectives on political science. Thus, the wait is over, and pleasure is solely mine in welcoming one and only the great political scientist, Professor Nachiketa Singh. Namaskar, sir.
Namaskar, Professor Jha, for a very elaborate introduction, and thanks for having me on your podcast today. It's a great pleasure indeed to be part of your intellectual, endeavors. And recently, I had been to Amity University, where I had a very productive session of interaction with your students as well. So it's always a pleasure to be part of intellectual discourse with you and the academic fraternity in general. Thank you very
Thank,
much.
thank you, sir. Welcome to Life Express. First of all, I, on behalf of my entire team, would like to extend our sincere gratitude to you for your gracious presence in Life Express. Sir, as I can see in your rich academic as well as political profiles, that you have not only studied political science, but also lived politics, I can say. तो यहाँ हम सबसे पहले ये जानना चाहेंगे आपसे कि क्या है पॉलिटिक्स या राजनीति आपके लिए? अमूमन लोगों के जहन में पॉलिटिक्स या राजनीति को लेकर एक अच्छा चित्र नहीं बनता है। ऐसे में एक आदर्श राजनीति क्या है आपके लिए? साथ में हम ये भी जानना चाहेंगे कि एक आदर्श लोकतंत्र को आप कैसे परिभाषित करते हैं? जी, ओवर टू यू।
थैंक यू। बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग सवाल है और इस सवाल का जो जवाब है हम अपने पूरा एकेडमिक जर्नी में बनाया हुआ है। मैं मानता हूं कि पॉलिटिकल साइंस एज ए सब्जेक्ट एंड पॉलिटिक्स एज अ वोकेशन बोथ आर अंडर वैल्यूड और रादर जो पॉलिटिक्स जो है वो एक इट हैज अर्नड अ बैड नेम just because of the fact that we have not been able to understand the meaning of politics as such. मैं अपने स्टूडेंट्स को हमेशा एक सेंस ऑफ प्राइड और एक इम्पोर्टेंस उनके दिमाग में डालता हूँ कि पॉलिटिकल साइंस के स्टूडेंट्स जो है वो अपने आप को कभी किसी के तुलना में कम नहीं आंकना चाहिए क्योंकि पॉलिटिक्स का जो जैसे आपने कहा कि आमतौर पर उसका जो डेफिनेशन बनता है वो कुछ अच्छा नहीं है लोगों के दिमाग में जहन में जो बात आती है
जी, एक
लेकिन
अच्छा चित्र
एज
नहीं बनता
पॉलिटिकल
है। जी।
yes, I agree with you, and it is partially or maybe very substantially true because not because politics as such is a bad thing to do, but uh, the way we have, you know, uh, done politics in our, system, that is something to look at. Uh, Politics एक ऐसा चीज है जो उसके बिना आपके जीवन में कोई भी जो पहलू आप कोई भी उठा के देख लीजिए हर जगह पॉलिटिक्स का आपको स्थान नजर आएगा और चाहे वो फैमिली के अंदर हो चाहे दो इंडिविजुअल के रिलेशनशिप में हो चाहे वो समाज में हो या अंतरराष्ट्रीय जगत में हो पॉलिटिक्स का एक रोल होता है बट द मैनर इन विच वी डिफाइन पॉलिटिक्स is something that ultimately determines the nature and character of politics. I for one would like to define politics as an art of management. This is very as simple as that. It's an art of management of what, of who gets what, where, when and how. ये चार पांच चीज को आप ध्यान में रखते हुए पॉलिटिक्स करेंगे और सकारात्मक तरीके से करेंगे तो फिर पॉलिटिक्स विल नेवर अर्न इट्स बैड नेम दैट इट हैज गॉट टुडे इसका मतलब है इट्स एन आर्ट ऑफ मैनेजमेंट टू डिसाइड हु इज टू गेट व्हाट वेयर व्हेन हाउ ये सारे चीज को बड़ा रैशनली आप समझते हुए जब हम पॉलिटिक्स को यूज करेंगे तो द मोस्ट डिजर्विंग विल गेट the most deserving will get in the right manner. That means if I have some entitlements which the Constitution guarantees, then it should come naturally to me. I don't have to fight it in the court of law. So it has to be, and I should get it without paying bribes. So who gets how, where, when? So there are issues in democracies where there are marginalized people. who do not get the
Sorry to
share.
interrupt you, sir, here. Sorry to interrupt you here, sir, before you proceed. As you have said that you have certain, a kind of, guidelines. Because, when you say all these things, then we also expect a kind of, set of guidelines or set of ethics by which we could be, driven, because we do not have any guidelines, nor politicians do have, what to do, what not to do. So can you suggest any prescriptive guidelines by which one can be, guided or disciplined or remain in control for the well-being of the society or
Ye-
mankind at large? Yes, sir.
yes, definitely. Politics एक ऐसा चीज है जो कोई, it's not a job, it's not a profession. It has to be something which is driven by your passion, your values. So बाकी jobs जो हम करते हैं उसमें guidelines होते हैं, आपके rules होते हैं. It's a rules based system in which you enter as an employee, or somebody who serves in the government or in the private sector or in any other profession. Here is a domain where you have to club or blend your professional competence as a politician, along with certain or a set of values, ethics, moral standards, which are probably not formally required in a formal job context. Here
Hmm.
you have to enter politics with a set of values and ethics, morality, so on and so forth. And that helps you automatically imbibe those rules and principles of politics. If I am morally sound, my moral fabric is strong, then whatever I do in politics will never be, considered as something dubious that I am doing. And if I, from my childhood, imbibes the certain ideals or set of ethics, work ethics, which I learned from my own family from childhood, then I carry that through and enter into politics, and there I cannot be very drastically different a person, no matter how much extraneous factors and how many characters or actors of a dubious distinction try to influence your mind. Still you will stick to your moral standing in politics. That is very important. So now we need a new generation of people, youngsters, who should now consider this as an alternative vocation for their future, where they will not only be satisfying their own interest of becoming a politician or a famous leader, but also will in that process contribute to the process of nation building. The twin objectives will coincide there. But in case of other professions, you only maximize your personal individual self interest to a large extent, and maybe in that process, through paying taxes and all that, we become very satisfied that we are contributing towards national development. But that's not enough. We have entered into a phase of our evolution as a nation, where now, with the kind of political environment that is being created to facilitate a larger mission called Vikshit Bharat, every Indian, every youth should now contribute in some way or the other. So if we are talking about only this specific domain of politics, where I think now the new generation of a young leaders should enter with the kind of moral fabric I am talking about, the kind of ethical norms they have in their system, personality. All these things will matter a lot, and then these people will make a difference when they take decisions. Who will get what, where, and when? That will be done in the most rational way by this set of people.
गुड, बहुत अच्छा सर, आपने कहा मोरल फैब्रिक्स के ऊपर आपने एम्फसिस दिया। लेकिन चिंता वही बनी रह जाती है कि एक जो पैराडाइम शिफ्ट आज हो रहा है, वी आर लुकिंग एट सेवरल phenomena which were considered substandard
till yesterday or till yesteryears, but today they are standard. So now today we have many new normals. And it is surprising that how we are going to inculcate moral fabrics or moral values or morality or righteousness, that will remain a big question, because even these days, I have seen parents are not aware of ideal parenting skills. So I really don't know where our youth will be heading to. So definitely in days to come, we shall look forward to having a set of prescriptive norms by which we can educate our youth what or how they should proceed. So these concerns will remain, sir. But इस चर्चा को आगे बढ़ाते हुए
मैं
मैं
इसमें
कुछ जी
म- हाँ, मैं इस पे थोड़ा सा कुछ बोलना चाहूंगा कि लेट अस नॉट बी वेरी disheartened or pessimistic about, because I understand and this is a major challenge, but at the same time we have to believe in history. History is replete with examples of how nations and societies have progressed. What we are today, maybe 100 years back we were not like that. And the entire western world, they were also not so developed, maybe centuries ago. But there is a process through which you go, and that process is called transition from one stage to another. We are a nascent democracy of a 75-year-old, democracy, where it is not expected that the democracy will flourish the way we see it to be flourishing in the West. Now they are also entering into a phase of uncertainties and a lot of challenges. So from uh, electoral democracy to substantive democracy, these things will be there as impediments and constraints. And it is the nation. I'm happy that today we are having these conversations. Maybe 20 years back, we were never reflecting on these problems as to what we must
right.
be doing to contribute towards making India a substantive democracy. We were happy with electoral democracy. And today, at least, not only in the political, domain, where this agenda of Vikasit Bharat or whatever is taking place, but the conversation is happening right here in intellectual forums. We were busy in universities and colleges educating our students to become employable. We were never delving deep into aspects of what you are talking about. It's our duty now. And I'm optimistic about the fact that it's going to happen, not immediately, because every society or nation goes through a process of churning, and we are right in the middle of this phase of churning, and it will yield positive results. अभी ये समुद्र मंथन चल रहा है. यहाँ पर हमें as a nation we have to reflect on these issues, and gradually, you know society will change, family values will change, because there is a overwhelming influence of a market economy which is destroying everything. We have to make a balance between society, economy, and polity. Now economy and economic interest is overwhelmingly determining every aspect of our life, including the lives of our children. They are more insulated from the real world and are after material world. So that's why all these aberrations, and I'm sure we will be able to negotiate with these
Definitely,
problems successfully.
definitely, the hopes will stay alive. So इसी
Yes.
चर्चा को आगे बढ़ाते हुए मैं कुछ चिंताएं आपसे साझा करना चाहूंगा, खासकर राजनीति को लेकर। और सबसे बड़ी चिंता है राजनीति का अपराधीकरण, जिसे आप क्रिमिनलाइजेशन ऑफ पॉलिटिक्स भी कह सकते हैं। Most of the politicians, especially in India, have close associations or links with criminals. And by using muscle power and money, many politicians with criminal charges win elections. क्या ऐसे में आपको नहीं लगता कि राजनीति और अपराध एक दूसरे का पर्याय बन चुका है? How can we ensure positive and fair politics, especially in India? Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Again, another very interesting and important question you have raised. Uh, मैं मानता हूं कि somewhere down the line after independence, the whole idea of a freedom struggle degenerated into kind of personal freedom to achieve anything and everything in life. That also percolated down to our political discourse, where political parties, particularly the party that was at the forefront of the freedom struggle, uh, it gradually started concentrating on electoral victory, because Mahatma Gandhi's vision of an independent India was not achieving political goals also. Everything else has to simultaneously be accomplished, like social democracy, economic democracy, cultural freedom, religious, equality. All these things had to be given equal importance. But what happened ultimately, that political power became, as it happens everywhere else. Unfortunately, it also happened maybe 10, 15 years down the line since independence. It became the primary concern of every political party as to how to grab power. So, power is to be treated as a means rather than end. And unfortunately, power became an end in itself for all the political parties, because through power, other things can be achieved. So there was, some mismatch in our vision at the time of independence and the kind of things we did in the name of democracy later on. Now I come to the question of how politics has become, you know, a victim of criminalization and the use of money power, muscle power. And these are very easy instruments of influencing voters by enticing them, by paying money, or by intimidating them through muscle power, because a large part of our population is still reeling under poverty, economic deprivation. And these are the ones who are very, very vulnerable. And these people
Hmm.
constitute the largest segment of the electorates. So it becomes very easy for political parties to target these people who are not
Hmm.
educated, they are illiterate, and they also need money. So this is a vulnerable kind of situation where you can easily buy that most valuable thing called vote. And
Hmm.
this is what has happened. I mean, if I am being paid to cast my vote to a particular candidate uh, in exchange of money, then what's wrong? He thinks like this. He does not, he thinks that I don't have to go to the field to work today. I'm getting over and above what I could have earned today as a daily wage. So as I'll sit at home, I'll go and vote, and then I'll get paid. So I earn my daily wage as well. But he is the person who will never be able to understand that by doing so, he is doing, more damage to the larger, you know, goals of democracy rather than serving any purpose to strengthen it. So, therefore, education comes as a very, very important factor. If you don't make the population literate enough to understand the meaning of and the importance of his vote, then obviously they will meekly surrender to these extraneous factors which are impacting the electoral outcomes. And that is what is substantive democracy. You make your voters free from prejudice, free from influences, and then they become very conscious and conscientious voters, and they think the larger interest of the nation rather than their personal interest, which they might be fulfilling by accepting bribes and money. Then comes criminalization. Criminalization is again something which has, wreaked havoc to Indian democracy, because these criminalization, these criminals, the range is very wide. It starts from petty criminals to the criminals who are indulging in financial, corruption. Uh, the big corporate houses also who are funding elections in anticipation of some kind of favorable legislation or personal favor to a company which they might get. So this all electoral bond, controversy was all about that. So we have to educate people first, uh, because no matter how much pressure you put on electorates, if they are conscientious, if they think about the nation first, they will not buckle down any under any pressure. So criminalization is something which can only be stopped if there is a larger consensus amongst political parties as to not allow these people to come to play whatever role they are playing. It starts with not giving them a ticket. And it will not happen if one particular party decides to do it. It has to be unanimous. Everybody has to do it. And then the kind of legislations and laws we have in our country, it has to be, amended, and strict legislation laws should be brought in to debar these people for life, rather than, under some pretext or the other, they come back. Uh, there is also moral corruption, like, an election in one election, and then trying to make your way through the back doors by there are provisions, you can get yourself elected. If you are not elected as an MP, then you can come back through back doors to the Rajya Sabha, or you become relevant, and that to that extent, you make somebody resign and then you contest in that position to get elected again back to. So you are totally flouting the moral aspects of politics, as well as you are weakening democracy by that. You don't have any respect for popular verdict. If I lose an election, that means I do not have the confidence of people. So what is the need of getting myself elected through backdoors to Rajya Sabha or to some other place? So I should not be in the political domain for a while, and get down there to work as a social worker, reflect on, introspect on what has gone wrong. That doesn't happen in politics. So that's a pity.
Very nice. Very thoughtful of you, sir. And the bottom line is that you said we need to identify the vulnerable groups or segments of society, and we need to educate them, how and or how things can be, understood in its right manner, because they are the ones who easily become victim of such politicians. In the hope of certain momentary gains. So anyway, we shall think about
along
those.
with along with
Yeah.
education, employment is also important. Financial freedom and financial independence is also important. If I am not dependent on something like that, I have money coming from such sources, then I won't bother that I should be voting in a to voting in a particular manner. So employment. So here, economic independence and education, and both constitute a vital segments of the social security aspect. So voters should be, given social security first, education and employment, and then they will not accept bribe.
Obviously, the empowerment of these vulnerables will be a top priority. Fine, fine, very
Yes.
nice. Well, सर देखते हैं हम कई बार कि एक इंडिविजुअल को हम लाइक करते हैं, लेकिन उस पार्टी को लाइक नहीं करते। और कई बार ऐसा भी देखा जाता है कि हम पार्टी को तो लाइक करते हैं, लेकिन उससे जुड़े कुछ कैंडिडेट्स या इंडिविजुअल्स जो हैं हम उन्हें लाइक नहीं करते। तो इस अवस्था में कैन वी हैव पार्टी फ्री वोटिंग सिस्टम? कुछ ऐसा प्रेफरेंशियल वोटिंग सिस्टम नहीं हो सकता है क्या कि हमें मतलब सिर्फ इंडिविजुअल्स की कुंडली दिया जाए और उसमें डिफरेंट पैरामीटर्स हो सिलेक्शन के, एंड बेस्ड ऑन विच वी विल select or elect our candidates or nominate our candidates to represent us? कुछ ऐसा प्रावधान है क्या या हो सकता है?
फिलहाल तो हमारे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में ऐसा कोई प्रावधान नहीं है। और ये आपने बहुत ही अच्छी बात कहा कि इस विडंबना में हमेशा वोटर रहता है कि कभी पॉलिटिकल पार्टी सही होती है लेकिन उसने कोई गलत कैंडिडेट को खड़ा कर दिया है, और कभी कभी ये होता है कि कैंडिडेट तो सही है लेकिन वो गलत पार्टी में है। तो
हम्म।
ये जो बहस है वो, टू सम extent, to rather a large extent, this debate does not hold any meaning at the moment in Indian politics. It is all about the political narratives, and in that, if a person fits in, then he is given the vote, not in the name of, I mean, in his own name, but in the name of the party. For example, today we are in the middle of a, transition where Indian democracy is moving more and more towards a charismatic leadership framework, in which, if I can take the name of our Prime Minister, I mean, BJP, both as an ideological party and having a leader of Prime Minister Modi's stature, stands to gain people's support and earn their trust, because of coincidence of the party and the person.
हम्म।
uh, you know uh, it is merging. So the convergence of leadership and party has yielded positive results for the party, and as far as the electors are concerned. But if you in that, whosoever uh, is contesting elections on a BJP ticket will win, and that his personal intricate details don't make any uh, sense to the voters, because they know, being an ideological party, and the kind of developmental agenda that BJP has set before the nation, those elected representatives will have to, even if they have any dubious record as an individual or person, they will have to toe the line of the party. So there, somewhere you can have little hope that such persons will get transformed and get aligned to a larger cause shared by the ideological dispensation. So that is also, to some extent, a positive way of looking at things, that sometimes you give such people a long rope to get get transformed. So many we have seen in the many occasions, that die-hard criminals who joined politics at a certain stage of their political career and had those impressions in the minds of public, now are well accepted leaders, after a few years. So the political party, its ideology would play a very important, and its agenda, development agenda. So it's like you give a chance. Even the die-hard criminals out of prison are also given a chance to get assimilated with the society later on. So that is one way of looking at that. Instead of trying to find ways and means to isolate them altogether, it is be better to give them a chance to come and change themselves. their mindset and all. And
आती है
sometimes.
सर, इसमें एक दिक्कत जो आती है कि कई बार हम ये देखते हैं कि मतलब ना चाहते हुए भी हमें मतलब कुछ ऐसे नॉन परफॉर्मिंग या नॉन परफॉर्मर जो लीडर्स हैं, उन्हें
Hmm,
हमें मतलब जिताना पड़ता है जबरदस्ती, जस्ट बिकॉज कि
hmm,
मतलब यू वांट सर्टेन पार्टी, यू नो। तो ऐसे में जो नॉन परफॉर्मिंग लोग हैं या इलेक्टेड लीडर्स हैं, उनके लिए
hmm,
कुछ दिशा निर्देशन नहीं होता है क्या? क्योंकि हमें ना चाहते हुए भी कई बार मैंने खुद कुछ ऐसे लीडर्स को मैंने वोट डाला है, जो मैं जानता हूँ कि मतलब ये परफॉर्म नहीं कर रहे हैं, लेकिन फिर भी हमने दिया और आज भी वो परफॉर्म नहीं कर रहे हैं। और उनकी ये
hmm,
पता नहीं मतलब उनके ये स्वभाव का एक हिस्सा है। मतलब दे आर सो डोरमेंट दैट दे डोंट फील लाइक परफॉर्मिंग। So how to
hmm,
get rid of such people? This is a big concern for us. जी,
hmm. Yes. So, yes, just let me fix my battery. Sorry. Uh, yes, I believe that this has been discussed, threadbare within the political, parties. Uh, and they have come out with some, I mean, major political parties have realized this. So what they want to now do is to make them accountable. It is the party itself which should be, first reprimand such, and that is what BJP as a political party, I am watching them very carefully. And the way things are, I mean, I even talked to some ministers and MPs. They say that they have a very very strict regime to follow as elected representative. And the party, internal party democracy, as they say, should be there in every political party. And there should be open conversation. As to that, gone are those days when you can take the electorates for granted. And if you have you know uh, a long term agenda as a political party to stay in power, then your you know uh, planning should be based on long term strategies. And that is what BJP is doing, that every member, uh, every elected representative is given a rule book as to what they have to do. For example, like visiting the constituency. I for one know very senior member of parliaments and ministers. They have a fixed routine of visiting their constituency. If you take your electorates for granted, then be sure today's electorate is not the same as it used to be maybe 20, 30 years back, where the person, the ideology of one party used to be so very overwhelmingly influencing the electorate's mind, that irrespective of the candidate, people used to go and vote for one party. Now gone are those days. Even if the present dispensation basks in the glory of charismatic leader like Mr. Modi, this phase will not continue forever. There will be accountability which they have to show. So therefore it is internal party rules regulation which will make this elected representative. For example, once you enter an university or a college, you are guided by the established rules and principles of the system. Similarly, they have to first have a rule book as to what they have to do.
very true.
uh, Otherwise they run the risk of being thrown out of power.
Yeah.
So, I mean, now people are more interested in delivery centric, politics rather than, dialogue or, only rhetorics. So
Hmm.
that's going to happen. And
Hmm.
I hope and wish that it happens sooner.
Yeah. Very nice, and definitely we shall look forward to having more and more rule books to civilize and educate our politicians as well. Well, coming to the second last question for you, sir, since you are an academician in the first place, so here my question is purely from academic perspectives. Uh, how do you see the future prospect of students who are pursuing their academic, career, doing their BA, MA, or PhD in political science? Because today we do not know what does the future hold for us. The career flights that our students are taking today will not necessarily land them at the right airport 5 or 10 years down the line. So, how do you see the future of our political science students in terms of future readiness? Ji, sir.
Uh, well, I would like to address this question from the point of view of all social science students, including
Right.
political science,
Mhm.
because historically they have been at a disadvantage as far as the job scenario or future prospects are concerned after graduation. But gone are those days. Now we have entered into a phase of our economic development and other things related to economic development, that a lot of opportunities are now being created. I remember in our times we were actually having two three options as to what we can do if we are serious. If we are serious students, then academics is one of the possible scenario for us used to be there. uh, but over a period of time, the social scientists have become very, very important for everything in life of a nation, and for that matter, in the entire world. The role of social scientists, it has become very, very significant, and it is being recognized by other disciplines and other, sectors, be it, the corporate sector, be it politics, be it in any other profession you go, you will find the importance of understanding individual emotions, social emotions, and psychological quotients. Everywhere there is a focus on that, because ultimately it boils down to dealing with real human beings. You cannot treat them as economic entities, as a bundle of consumption, who will keep on consuming what you produce in the market and bring to the market, and through your production system, they will ultimately be questioning. Now people have started questioning about real life issues, where you go to a supermarket and you buy stuff, and then you check whether they are good for your health, good for even there is controversy about the halal stuff being sold. These are all matters concerning the social world, and you cannot keep those things out. Now, coming to the prospects for social scientists, I feel that a lot of social science students are now into various non-government organizations working in diverse fields concerning social security of people, concerning human security, at large. And these are also students who are making their way into various other professions apart from teaching and academics, like legal profession. United Nations also provides a lot of opportunities for social science students. And then you have journalism, which is a very powerful, medium through which you can express your ideas and views very independently. So those things are there, apart from, of course, the obsession and craze for big, civil services, where you have ample opportunity to serve the society and the country. So these students have ample opportunity, provided they stay focused on what they actually want to achieve, uh, instead of trying to get distracted towards multiple things and finally not able to achieve anything. For example, if you have the knack of speaking and you are argumentative, so you should focus on your prospects of in a legal profession. So you should not deviate and get your attention distracted towards civil service or some other things at that formative stage of your preparations. So a lot of students do like that. It's always good to have a backup plan, but it should not be multiple backup plans. There you cannot be good in one particular area. So that is where you are judged, you are interviewed, and you are examined, your knowledge is evaluated. So students, social science students, have ample opportunity. They can go to any field nowadays. I mean, I see a lot of social science students, fresh graduates. They are now joining as interns with member of parliaments, with
Mm.
politicians, and that is what could be their first step towards entering politics. They will learn a lot of things on the ground, practical knowledge. So politics is gradually becoming an acceptable vocation for youngsters, and the country needs them. And they should add one more option to their kitty of prospective jobs or professions. That is politics, I believe. So the scenario is not all that bad as it used to be in the past. Now social science, even we see the trends. If you look at the data today, very very good students with good percentile and percentage and CGPA in the school, they come to study social science. And social scientists have place in corporate sectors. Now a lot of companies are coming to hire students, and they prefer social scientists. They don't anymore need experts in that field. They need people with open mind and who can be flexible. They will learn while working. So I have seen many students from political science upon my my class. They have made it to IIMs. They have made it to many other business schools to pursue management as a subject to pursue that career later on. So I mean, there are a lot of scope and opportunities for social science students today, because the human angle is gradually, very slowly, but gradually penetrating into the material world of corporates. And because that is what they have to ultimately focus on, the human aspect. And a lot of and ever since this corporate social responsibility and all those ideas came, uh, uh, these corporate world is also changing very fast. They are accepting social scientists also. They're, I believe they were faltering on that. They were having some deficiency on that count earlier. Now they are bridging that gap.
Excellent, excellent. So the crux is, apart from our natural instinct and inclination, we should also keep a tab, or we should keep an eye on the ongoing developments and needs of society and industry. Very nice. Well, at last, I would like to request you, sir, to deliver a brief peace message for our intellectual viewers to create a better world of peace and progress. G.
Well, that's a very nice way to conclude the conversation. I am actually not that big to give a peace message, but as a professional, as an individual, as a human being, I have certain ideas and certain views about how, as individuals, in whatever capacity we are there, in our corporate life, in our national life, in our social life, we can contribute. Our role is more important. Unfortunately, we have left everything to the politicians to decide. The peace is not something that the politicians or the state should bring about. Peace is a very very big concept. Uh, if you are not attacked or you are threatened by your neighboring country, that does not mean you are a peaceful nation or a peaceful country. On a everyday basis, we encounter, we face with such problems which damage the prospect of peace. If we are not living harmoniously in the society, we are not a peaceful nation. So forget about how effectively we have strengthened our military and defense forces across the border. That doesn't make any sense. If we are, if we are breathing bad air, and we are living in a polluted environment, that is not something which we look for, and that is also damaging the prospect of a peaceful and prosperous nation. So we'll have to work on the ground, and the message is that it is high time that each of us should now stop believing that the politicians will deliver on every front. It is our duty to now come forward as an intellectual community, academia. We have abundant duty towards our society, our nation, and our country at large. That whatever we can do, we should be doing, because ultimately human security is more important than national security. I believe national security you can buy by purchasing arms, ammunition, developing nuclear weapons and all that, but ultimately it's going to take us nowhere. And those resources can be very effectively used in developing your infrastructure, in spending in the social sector, and that will have a long term impact, lasting impact on peace and stability. Prosperity cannot be sustained without peace, and peace and prosperity will be only ensured when we have a sustainable environment, and that includes social environment as well. You cannot have a very good green environment and think that the social environment will change. No, that will not happen. So social environment ecosystem will also have to undergo a process of thorough transformation, and all these things will have to go hand in hand, in tandem. You cannot leave everything else for material prosperity, that the country will become a 5 trillion economy and will become a developed country. No, that will be growth only. Development is much more a substantive thing to achieve, and I believe that that can happen. And unless we ensure peace at the global level, all these things will have no meaning, because you cannot be an island of prosperity amid, destruction all around you. And that is what is happening today. So we have to also now proactively stay invested in voicing our opinion about peace in the world. And our Prime Minister has already mentioned this in his speech, that this is not an era for war. And Vasudeva Kutumbakam, the philosophical underpinning of his entire global discourse, will go hand in hand, that we cannot support war, and we believe in one world, one earth, one family, and one future. So we have a natural stake in what is happening elsewhere outside our borders. So we will have a role, each one of us, and we are opinion makers, intellectuals, academia. We have to strongly voice our views about all this. So we are living in a very, very interesting phase of our life, when academia is finding a platform now, like that what you are doing. I mean, 10, 20 years back it was not there. Now we are having conversation openly, so technology has made it possible, and our you know outreach has grown manifold. So we are a very strong community, academia and intellectual community can make a huge difference in the way the world is now being reshaped. Thank you.
Well, listening to you is always, it has always been enlightening और मेरा तो मन नहीं कर रहा है, लेकिन समय की एक मर्यादा है, नहीं तो हम इस चर्चा को जारी रखते, मे बी
Same
इन
here, sir.
फ्यूचर सम अदर टाइम। लेकिन सर आज
Sure.
आप हमसे जुड़े उसके लिए आपका विशेष धन्यवाद, और आपके सराहनीय एवं उत्कृष्ट कार्यों के लिए लाइफ एक्सप्रेस की जूरी ने आपके लिए एक अवार्ड की घोषणा की है, और वो अवार्ड है लाइफ एक्सप्रेस आइकन ऑफ इंडिया अवार्ड। और इस अवार्ड को सहर्ष स्वीकार करने के लिए मैं अपनी टीम और अपने समस्त दर्शकों की ओर से आपको कहूँगा ढेरों बधाई। And once again,
बहुत बहुत
thank you for
आभार।
connecting with Life Express today. God willing, we shall connect again in future
Sure.
with some pertinent and relevant issues. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Pleasure is all mine. You are doing a great job, Professor John. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Life Express Icon of India Award is proudly presented to Professor Nachiketa Singh for his exemplary contributions to Indian academia on 1st March 2025.
नमस्कार दोस्तों, हमेशा की तरह आज के आईके सेगमेंट में सबसे पहले हम एक ह्यूमन वैल्यू सीखेंगे और उसके बाद हम एक भारत के पारंपरिक मान्यता या ट्रेडिशनल बिलीफ के वैज्ञानिक कारण को भी समझेंगे। लेकिन पहले हम बात करेंगे ह्यूमन वैल्यू की। पिछला ह्यूमन वैल्यू जो हमने हिंदी अल्फ़ाबेट के जरिए सीखा था वो था न से नैतिकता, और हिंदी का अगला अक्षर या लेटर है प, और प से जिस मानव मूल्य का मैंने चयन किया है वो है परोपकार। मानव जीवन में परोपकार का स्थान सबसे ऊपर है। परोपकार का यदि आप संधि विच्छेद करते हैं तो यह शब्द पर और उपकार से बना है, जिसमें पर का अर्थ होता है दूसरा और उपकार का अर्थ है सहायता या मदद, यानी दूसरों की भलाई करना। यही परोपकार का भाव है। जब आपके अंदर बिना किसी स्वार्थ के दूसरों की मदद करने का भाव उत्पन्न होता है तो उसका अर्थ है कि आप में परोपकारिता के गुण हैं या आप परोपकारी हैं। परोपकार कोई दबाव में नहीं बल्कि स्वेच्छा से करने का एक सेवा भाव है। जिस समाज में लोगों में परोपकारिता का भाव होता है वो समाज बहुत ही सुखी, समृद्ध और खुशहाल होता है। परोपकारिता यदि सीखनी हो तो आप प्रकृति से परोपकारिता सीख सकते हो, जैसे कि पेड़ अपने लिए नहीं बल्कि दूसरों को देने के लिए फल धारण करती है। सागर अपना पानी खुद नहीं पीती बल्कि मानवता के लिए जल प्रदान करती है। खेत अपने लिए नहीं बल्कि हमारे लिए अनाज का पैदावार करती है। वैसे ही सूर्य और चांद अपने लिए नहीं बल्कि हमारे लिए अमृत प्रकाश देती है। आप गाय को ही देखें, वो अपने लिए नहीं बल्कि हमारे लिए दूध देती है। इस तरह से सारी सृष्टि एक निस्वार्थ समर्पण एवं कल्याण का संदेश देती है। कहते हैं कि दाएं हाथ से किया गया दान बाएं हाथ को पता नहीं चलना चाहिए। हमारी प्राचीन भारतीय परंपरा में लोग गुप्त रूप से दान किया करते थे, वो होता था असली परोपकार। आज तो लोग एक कंबल क्या दान करते हैं गरीबों को, उसका फोटो और वीडियो पूरे सोशल मीडिया पे फैला देते हैं। आज की परोपकारिता सिर्फ नाम, शोहरत, प्रसिद्धि या निजी स्वार्थ तक सीमित रह गई है। लेकिन आज भी कुछ लोग हैं जो निस्वार्थ भाव से दूसरों के बारे में सोचते हैं। किसी भी समाज या राष्ट्र की उन्नति परोपकारिता पर आधारित होती है। मनुष्य का कर्तव्य सिर्फ ये नहीं है कि सिर्फ वे अपने आप को सशक्त व सबल बनाए। आपके पास जो भी साधन है उसे दूसरे के कल्याण के लिए आप इस्तेमाल करें। अगर आपके पास पैसे है तो उसे ज़रूरतमंदों के साथ भी साझा करें। यदि आपके पास ताकत है तो उस ताकत को दूसरों पर दमन करने के लिए नहीं, बल्कि कमज़ोरों को सहारा देने के लिए करें। वैसे ही यदि आपके पास ज्ञान है तो उस ज्ञान को औरों के साथ साझा करें। तो कहने का तात्पर्य ये है कि आप सिर्फ अपनी तरक्की, खुशहाली का मत सोचो, बल्कि आप ये भी सोचो कि आपके साधन दूसरों के काम कितना आ सकता है। इन्हीं कारणों से भारत की आदर्श संस्कृति वसुधैव कुटुंबकम पर आधारित थी। हर व्यक्ति का धर्म होना चाहिए कि वह एक परोपकारी बने और कभी भी दूसरों के प्रति हीन भावना नहीं रखे। तो परोपकार के इस महत्व के साथ हम आगे बढ़ते हैं अपनी एक पारंपरिक मान्यता के वैज्ञानिक कारण की ओर, और इसके अंतर्गत आज हम समझेंगे वास्तु शास्त्र का विज्ञान अकॉर्डिंग टू के.वी. सिंह। वास्तुशास्त्र एक प्राचीन विज्ञान है। वर्तमान काल में इसका महत्व और भी बढ़ गया है, क्योंकि जनसंख्या की वृद्धि, भौतिक साधनों की प्रचुरता और महानगरों में आवासीय समस्याएं दिन प्रतिदिन बढ़ती जा रही हैं। आज सीमित भूभाग में बने आवास और गगनचुंबी अट्टालिकाएं कुकुरमुत्तों सी फैल रही है। विडंबना है कि भौतिक समृद्धि के बावजूद मनुष्य की मानसिक शांति और वास्तविक सुखानुभूति कम होती जा रही है, जिसका एक कारण यह भी है कि हमने भौतिकता की दौड़ में पाश्चात्य जीवन शैली का अंधानुकरण करना शुरू किया है, जबकि पाश्चात्य शैली भारतीय जीवन पद्धति के लिए बिल्कुल प्रतिकूल है। भारतीय पूर्ण रूपेण वैदिक संस्कृति और परंपराओं के पक्षधर रहे हैं। भौतिकतावादी चिंतन और अनुकरण हमें मानसिक अशांति, हिंसा, उन्माद और शारीरिक असंतोष की ओर ले जा रहे हैं। इन सभी दुष्परिणामों का मुख्य कारण है हमारे दोषपूर्ण आवास, व्यावसायिक संस्थान और विश्वविद्यालय आदि। पिछले 3-4 दशकों में भारत ने भौतिक जगत में तो आशातीत उन्नति की है, पर दूसरी ओर सांस्कृतिक आध्यात्मिक मूल्यों का जितना ह्रास हुआ है उसकी तो कल्पना ही नहीं की जा सकती। प्राचीन काल में भारत विश्व में अध्यात्म में कई क्षेत्रों में अग्रणी रहा, क्योंकि हमारे प्राचीन विश्वविद्यालयों की नींव वैदिक वास्तु के आधार पर रखी गई थी। हमारे देवालय, उपवन और आश्रम निश्चय ही आध्यात्मिक शांति और शक्ति का संचार करते थे। यद्यपि आज प्राचीन महल, मंदिर और उपवनों के केवल अवशेष रह गए हैं, फिर भी वे हमें अपनी ओर आकर्षित करते हैं। इसके विपरीत आधुनिक वास्तुशिल्प में बाह्याकर्षण तो है, परंतु आंतरिक सुख और शांति का पूर्णतः अभाव होता है। आचार्य वराहमिहिर और ऋषि वशिष्ठ जैसे विद्वानों ने बहुत पहले ही सिद्ध कर दिया था कि किसी भी भूखंड या भवन का आकार प्रकार का अभाव उसमें निवास करने वाले परिवारों पर विशेष रूप से पड़ता है। इसी सत्य पर ही वास्तुशास्त्र की नींव आधारित है। वास्तुशास्त्र के पीछे विज्ञान यह है कि प्रकृति के पांचों तत्व जल, वायु, अग्नि, आकाश व पृथ्वी नवग्रहों के साथ मिलकर जब एक अनुकूल दबाव या प्रभाव किसी स्थान पर बनाते हैं तो उस स्थान के चारों ओर सुख शांति का एक वर्तुल बन जाता है और वहाँ सुख के साथ वैभव आता है। इसके विपरीत जब प्रकृति के इन तत्वों में सामंजस्य नहीं होता तो वहाँ सब कुछ विपरीत होता है। हमारे ऋषि मुनियों ने इस विज्ञान का गहन अध्ययन किया और कई सूत्र बनाए जिनके अनुसार यह निश्चित किया कि किसी भी मकान का या मकान को बनाते समय उसका कौन सा भाग किस दिशा में हो, घर के किस भाग में घर के किस व्यक्ति को रहना चाहिए, ताकि प्रकृति के तत्वों से हमें अधिक से अधिक लाभ मिले और सुख शांति प्राप्त हो। जब हम मकान या दुकान बनाते समय इन सूत्रों या नियमों का पालन नहीं करते तब हमारे जीवन में गड़बड़ शुरू हो जाती है। आज के इस युग में वास्तुशास्त्र के सारे सूत्र या नियम हम पूर्ण रूप से पालन नहीं कर सकते, परंतु जो कुछ भी जितना भी पालन कर सकते हैं उनका पालन अवश्य करें। हर व्यक्ति यही चाहता है कि उसके पास खूब धन दौलत और घर में सुख शांति हो। उसका व्यवसाय, दुकान, फैक्ट्री या फिर कार्यालय ऐसा हो जहां वह दिन दुगुनी व रात चौगुनी प्रगति करे। ऐसा तभी हो सकता है जब उसके भाग्य में ऐसा लिखा हो। भाग्य केवल ग्रहों से या आदमी की अपनी मेहनत से ही नहीं बनता, वह स्थान जहां वह रहता है या काम करता है कि आंतरिक शक्तियां भी भाग्य में योग देती है। यदि वह स्थान जहां वह व्यक्ति रहता है वास्तुशास्त्र के अनुसार निर्मित नहीं है तो उस व्यक्ति के अच्छे भाग्य के होते हुए भी उसकी उतनी उन्नति नहीं होगी जितनी की हो सकती, या फिर पैसा तो उसके पास बहुत होगा पर खर्चे इतने होंगे कि बचत शून्य होगी, या फिर घर में शांति नहीं होगी और बीमारियां घेर लेंगी। हो सकता है मकान में आग लग जाए, चोरी हो जाए, या फिर बिजली के उपकरणों में अक्सर खराबी आती रहे। ऐसे कई कष्ट हो सकते हैं जिनका संबंध व्यक्ति के भाग्य से अधिक उस स्थान की वास्तु से होता है जहां वह रहता है अथवा कार्य करता है। आज के सत्र की समाप्ति मैं फिर एक आह्वान के साथ करूंगा, खासकर प्रोफेसर नचिकेता सिंह की बातचीत से निकले कुछ मुख्य अंश को लेकर। सबसे महत्वपूर्ण बात सोचने की ये है कि समाज या राष्ट्र का असली नेता या प्रतिनिधि करने वाला या नेतृत्व करने वाला व्यक्ति कौन और कैसा हो। ऐसे व्यक्ति की पहचान किसी पार्टी के लोगों को देखकर नहीं बल्कि उनके चरित्र व आचरण का उचित आकलन कर करना चाहिए। कोई पॉलिटिकल पार्टी अच्छा भी हो सकता है और बुरा भी हो सकता है, लेकिन ध्यान रहे कि पॉलिटिकल लीडर अनिवार्य रूप से अच्छा ही हो। एक अच्छे पृष्ठभूमि से हो, जिसके अंदर राइचसनेस या सदाचार हो और साथ में जन कल्याण की चाहत हो। तो मिलते हैं अगले एपिसोड में। टिल देन एंजॉय योर टाइम मीनिंगफुली, और हाँ, अपना और अपनों का भी ख्याल रखें। जय हिंद।